Civil defense officials in Gaza say at least 100 people were killed in Tuesday's Israeli airstrikes on the territory. But officially, the truce is still holding in Gaza, and President Trump has insisted that those deadly attacks will not put the ceasefire at risk. Well, for his assessment, I'm joined now on the line from London by the author and international affairs analyst, Dr. Marek Laskiewicz. Great to see you, Dr. Laskiewicz, and thank you very much indeed for joining us. I wonder, first of all, what you make of this latest attack in Gaza by Israel.
Well, to be honest, it's hard to see precisely why they're doing it, because Hamas clearly has a difficulty in finding all the hostages because the sheer amount of bombardment that Gaza had previously. It is literally over 80% destroyed in places. So that Israel chose to make such a deadly attack, again on civilians as well, seems to be a move which is perhaps calculated to break up the peace process. It's very hard to see any good explanation for it.
Indeed. Israel, though, says that the bigger provocation came after they claimed that Hamas attacked and killed one of its soldiers. As you said, Hamas saying that it's working under, Hamas has denied that, and it says it's working under difficult conditions to try and retrieve the bodies of all the deceased hostages. But does it look like, I mean, essentially they're returning to hostilities, which would be the worst possible scenario?
Yeah, the business of what Israel claimed the attack, the problem is it hasn't been confirmed. And owing to the fact that Israel has banned all the foreign media from being in Gaza, it's virtually impossible to work out whether this was a genuine attack, a mistake, or for that matter, simply a story. One of the problems in dealing with Israel is they deny so much and claim so much that working out what is actually happening is quite difficult. And there seems to be no reason from scaling up straightway to another major attack involving major casualties. As you rightly say, the real casualty will be the peace process if we don't watch out. But Hamas, for its part, has simply said it's simply trying to locate more hostages and has not indicated at all that it's interested in continuing hostilities at this point, whereas obviously Israel, to some degree, is. The key player is President Donald Trump. He has made it quite clear that the peace process in his eyes is going on. And as a result, it's more than likely that that is what will happen because, quite simply, Israel needs Donald Trump to state it has not, or to state it supports its attacks in order to be able to continue them. So right now, fragile, indeed, to some degree, overbent, it still continues, and let us hope that that's what's going to happen. Certainly, President Donald Trump has made a very important announcement today saying it's not going to derail it. That is important.
Absolutely. I mean, so the issue of political accountability and where it lies is unclear. The level of trust, some people see that as a vain hope, but that is unclear as well. And as you pointed out, Donald Trump insisting that the ceasefire is not at risk. But what about the next phase of Donald Trump's peace plan? I mean, are negotiations about some of those issues even taking place?
Central problem about the negotiations of phase two, since it's all one and the same, is Hamas prepared to lay down its arms? That's what it boils down to. If they are not, there will be no phase two. If they are, then there will be, because President Donald Trump is, in a sense, staking his reputation on this, considering that the Russian-Ukrainian war has not worked out to a peace process as he envisaged. And he is continually being criticized for all various of his other policies. And so, therefore, it's very important for him that this goes ahead. As things stand, we would anticipate, I think, at best, that this phase one continues, because after all, they still haven't located all the hostages, that the phase two talks will start, and at some point, unfortunately, there's going to have to be a declaration from Hamas precisely what they see as their role. There's supposed to be no role for them in the Gaza government, but that is perhaps negotiable. What is not negotiable is they don't lay down their arms. And it hinges on that. And President Donald Trump has made it quite clear that if Hamas doesn't lay down its arms, he's not going to press Israel to carry on with the ceasefire.
So, without making you repeat yourself, how do you think all this is going to play out if the bodies of the remaining hostages are not returned?
To be quite honest, I don't think they can be returned. I think it's physically impossible in the ruins and the rubble that is Gaza today for them to simply locate them all. This is, by the way, by no means unusual. During the Warsaw Uprising, for example, many caches of arms by the Poles were simply bombed out of existence because the people, for example, who knew where they were killed in a bombing raids or artillery raids. And it's quite possible Hamas quite simply cannot lay its hands on all the hostages, which is already a negative point. If, therefore, on top of this, Hamas does not lay down its arms, then I don't think the peace process will continue. If, on the other hand, despite their not finding all the hostages, Hamas is prepared to lay down its arms, well, then I think it may continue. And I think it's even possible that Hamas may have some sort of role in the running of Gaza. However, these two big ifs, there are two big ifs there. And to be quite honest, it's hard to predict at present. But I do not expect all the hostages' bodies, unfortunately, are findable at present.
Dr. Laskiewicz, thank you very much indeed. We hugely appreciate your assessment. Dr. Marek Laskiewicz is the author and international affairs analyst who was talking to me on the line there from London.